but I really don't care. I was ready. So we're diving into this. So this is the 3-day experience. This is going to be a really fun thing. What we're doing is, hello. So this is going to be the 3 days, and we're calling it Abundance by Design. So what we're going to be talking about over the next couple of days, hello everybody. What we're going to be talking about is money and human design and how they work together and what you need to know to start rewiring your energetic relationship with money, because money is not actually a thing. It's this flow, it's this in-between thing, it's this placeholder that represents how we exchange energy. It represents value, it represents exchange. So human design, what it does is it shows you, it gives you this really, really pretty picture. Hello everybody, I'm so happy there's so many people on here. So human design gives you this picture, and it shows you your defined areas, and it shows you, hi Sarah, and it shows you your open areas, and it shows you how you exchange energy with the people around you. And that's really, really valuable, because if you can see where you're supposed to show up, how you're supposed to be bold, how you're supposed to hold space for other people, and where you retain energy, where you pull in energy from the people around you, you can see where you are out of alignment. And I think that that's one of the biggest things that makes things like patterns of prosperity and using human design in your money manifesting process different is it shows you what alignment looks like for you. It takes out the guessing work. So in your human design chart, you're going to have two types of energies. I look at these a little bit differently than a lot of people. We have defined energy and we have undefined energy. Defined energy, to me, I see it as masculine energy. This is something that people don't like when I associate anything in human design with masculine and feminine. But to me, defined energy is masculine. It's something you can rely on. It's an energetic structure that you hold within your energetic aura that allows people to flow in and out. I hold a specific structure, I hold a specific pattern that you get to experience. And the more aligned I am in this energy, the more you feel it, the more potent it becomes, the stronger it gets. This is your strength in that defined energy within your human design chart. And you can see what it's supposed to look like. What alignment's supposed to look like when you're giving yourself permission to be bold in all of these areas and to not hold back. You open up and you hold this big structure that allows for things like money and relationships to flow in. So there's two types of kind of blocks that we experience with human design. We have them in our open spaces and we have them in our defined spaces. So the open spaces, anything that's going to be white in your human design chart, this is an area where you take in energy. So it's inconsistent, it's flowy, it's not something that you specifically, it's not yours. It's not something that you have consistently and you can rely on. That's going to be open. Hi, Catherine. So in these open areas, it's going to be a lot more feminine. It's a lot more flowy. This is where you get to experience something. If you have an open ego center, you get to experience how everybody else feels and sees self-worth. So many different possibilities. This is where we are limitless. So we have our, I don't want to call it limitations. We have our strengths. We have our set of consistent energies that we can rely on, we can come back to. We can master them in our defined areas, and we can take it levels higher. We can evolve in these areas. And then we have our open spaces, which is going to be the areas where we are limitless, where we get to experience things in all different ways, where we get to see people at a different level, where we take in energy. So when we're thinking specifically about money, money tends to amplify what our relationships look like. Money tends to be this placeholder. It tends to really take on a lot of the I don't know what the word is. A lot of the patterns. It really takes on a lot of the patterns of what we're doing wrong. It really amplifies and shows you exactly where you're not aligned, and that can be really powerful. So when it comes to that, when it comes to money, you can go through your human design chart and you can see, okay, am I allowing myself to be who I am? First of all, am I holding that structure? Am I being magnetic, or am I holding myself small? Because if you're pushing your energy down, if you're trying to be smaller, you can't be magnetic. So if you've ever tried to play with magnets, we're going to talk about this because it's a really easy example. If you play with magnets, they're strong when they're open. They're strong when they're not covered. If you put a blanket over the magnet, chances are if there's distance, if there's space between the magnets, they're not going to stick. They're not going to stick because you're dimming that magnetic field. You're dimming that magnetic pull. Hi, Elizabeth. You're dimming it when you are holding yourself small, when you're saying, I need to be a certain way. I can't do this. I can't show up this way. I'm too much. So we learn two different things. We learn one, we are too much in our defined areas. And then we learn, oh, this person, because I experienced this from them, they have this particular trait. And that feels really good. They're successful and they have this trait, and they associate being successful with having that particular trait. I'm afraid I don't have that. So we have this, I am too much and I am not enough. And when we're configuring our energy, when we're trying to warp it and shift it and change it and trying to fit it into the box of what we think we're supposed to look like in order to be successful, we're not energetically aligned with it. We're trying to align with somebody else's version of success. We're trying to align with some other idea of what success looks like, and we're not actually allowing ourselves to be magnetic in the unique way that we are designed to be magnetic. So let's talk about learning. We learn through association for the first 7 years of our life. So basically, you are unconscious for the first 7 years of your life. Around the age of 7 is when that moment comes where you're like, oh, this is my life. Like, I live here. And that conscious mind kind of turns on. The reason for this is because in the beginning several years of your life, you have to learn everything. You have to learn what the heck is going on, what your senses are, how to move, how to work not just your body, but how to live in and how to survive in the world that you are living in, this human plane, this human realm. And so what you do is you learn through association. Associative learning is very, very foundational. It's very basic. It's very associated with the unconscious mind. You don't need to have consciousness or higher thought in order to be able to associatively learn things. It's basically A equals B. It's just making connections. And so things like when I pull like this, my arm moves. If you're thinking about a baby, or if my parent does that, oh my gosh, that's like exciting. You learn different things, A equals B. And this is why children are really, really fast learners, because if you think about it, you learn within the first couple of years of your life, you learn how everything works. You learn the rules of gravity, you learn the rules of like tables and like solid matter. You learn all of these crazy things that you're not even aware of. So this unconscious part of you is really, really a very fast learner. It picks things up so quickly. And so this is where a lot of what your experience is, this is what a lot of your experience is based off of. So, hi, Brooke. So how this works is we have that unconscious learning. We have those associative learnings when we're in those younger years, when we're young, when we have those, when we're saying A equals B, this equals that, we associate two things and we make a connection. So this is the same type of learning that animals are capable of, that plants are capable of. Plants do this with if I lean this way, I get more sunlight. Sunlight equals happiness. Sunlight equals happy plant, right? For most plants. Some of them don't like that, but I'm learning, okay? I'm learning with my plant babies. But this is where a lot of your programming stems from. So basically the things that you learned for the first 7 years of your life, they're still running in your unconscious mind. And so a fun little fact is that your conscious mind is only capable of responding to a very, very limited amount of information that you are receiving. Any given moment, your nervous system is receiving billions of different signals. So much information is coming at you. If you think about every cell, every receptor cell in your body is receiving and giving energy at some point. You would be overwhelmed if you had to consciously decide how to respond to every single thing that shows up for you. If you had to respond to, oh, my stomach is hurting, or oh, like this particular imbalance is going on in my intestines, I need to digest my food, I need to, my clothing is here, like, is this okay? Does this feel safe? If you had to make every single decision consciously, you'd be exhausted. You'd burn so many calories. It's not mentally possible. Your conscious mind is only responsible for making the decisions for really important things. So there's a hierarchy. Your conscious mind it's you making the systems, but everything else around you, if you had to walk into a room and decide this is a chair, this is solid because it looks solid, and you have to make all of those decisions and go through all of those things every single time you entered a room, you'd be exhausted. you wouldn't get anything done. And so how this works is those conscious thoughts, what you learn, all of those programming, it becomes automatic. It becomes a part of your subconscious mind or your unconscious mind, whatever you like to call it. Your unconscious mind is responsible for responding to 99.9999999% of the information that you receive every day, any moment. It is responding to everything. It's responding to the clothing that you're wearing. It's responding to all of this information that you are getting, not just in the physical plane, what you're smelling, what you're hearing, what you're sensing, all of these different things. Your unconscious mind is responsible for most of it. 99.79% of the information that you are getting. And so if you have a rule in your unconscious mind that says something like it's not safe to be successful, it's not safe to be wealthy, you can be consciously, trying to be associating with wealth, trying to make more money, trying to manifest more abundance into your experience, but it's going against that unconscious programming. It's going against what your body is responding to. It's going against the programming that you decided, that you learned, that that's true for you. That's a belief. So your unconscious programming is going to respond to things so that it aligns with that belief that you have programmed. So abundance is our natural state. We're designed to live in a space of overflow, of abundance, of having more than enough of the resources that we need. Money is just a resource. It flows in and out of our experience, similar to how you breathe. You can breathe in, you can breathe out. You're never worried about where your next breath is going to come from because money can come from all around you. Air can come from all around you. You're not holding your breath. If you're holding your breath, you're going to have a little bit of a panic attack and you're going to freak out because all of a sudden you can't breathe because you're holding your breath. That's kind of how it works with money. We have these beliefs, we put these things into place, we put these structures into place that say, I can't have money. I am not abundant. It's difficult to make money. I need to express this particular trait in order to be worthy of money. I need to feel this particular way in order to be worthy of money. Whatever it is that you have decided, that's what your unconscious programming is saying. So, how do we change this? Look at your current reality. Your current reality is a reflection of your unconscious programming, of your belief system, of your rules, of your internal state. And so if what you're seeing is not what you desire, you're going to have to rewrite those neural pathways. And this sounds complicated. This sounds difficult. It doesn't have to be. It's really not. It's really not that bad, guys. So consciously, just being aware of your thoughts, because a lot of the thoughts that we experience we are not our thoughts. We are the observer of our thoughts. A lot of the thoughts that we experience don't actually support us being successful. And so if your conscious stream of thought or your unconscious thought stream or whatever it is that you're going on, how you're narrating your life says things like, oh, I need to do more of this. I need to be more successful. In order to be more successful, I need to work harder. Where the heck is this money going to come from? I have to figure it out. Why? Oh my gosh, it's already like the 10th of the month and I'm not halfway to my goal yet. All of this fear-based state, that's the programming for the future. That's what you're saying is going to be true. That's your truth. That's your belief system. So how you can rewrite this mentally is you can say, okay, this particular area, this particular focus, whatever it is that you are, whatever thought it is, you can add on to it or you can go around it. So you can either stop the thought before it goes into the whole spiral, the whole vibrational spiral of, oh my gosh, I'm not good enough. I'm a failure. I need to feel worthy in order to manifest money. I can't manifest money. Whatever it is that you're experiencing, whatever thoughts you're having, you can stop it. You can say, ooh, we're not going to think that. We're going to think something else. And if you do that enough time, that's going to become a new habit. That's going to become a new subconscious programming. It's going to become part of your natural state. Instead of going to your old pattern of downward spiral, it's going to stop and it's going to program it for you. It's going to say, we're making this decision over and over and over again to say, I'm going to be grateful for the abundance that I have. I'm going to choose to see that money is an unlimited resource instead of going into this space of trying to figure out how and trying to worry. So you can make that decision. If you make that decision 5, 10 times, however many times it takes for you, that's rewiring your neural pathways. That is making a conscious thought into a subconscious belief, which is going to become a rule, a reflex, and a program. So how this works is if you decide something over and over again, you decide something, This is true, this is true, this is true. You think about it enough consciously, with your attention, with your focus, it's going to become automatic. It's going to slowly, your body's going to say, oh, we're choosing this over and over again. Got it. We're choosing this over and over again. This feels good. And then it's going to become an unconscious programming. And once it's an unconscious programming, it's eventually going to become a reflex. And this is where it really gets deep into the cellular level of your nervous system. It doesn't just become a thought anymore, a subconscious programming. It becomes a part of the vibration that your cells experience, that your nerves experience. It becomes a part of your magnetic field, is this vibration of abundance. And at that level, your cells have learned it. At that level, it's not a program, it's not a whatever, it is your truth. It is your experience. It's the foundation of your reality. That's how we make things change. That's how we change things consciously. So when we're talking about human design, how this plays into it is your human design shows you what's natural for you. And so all of this programming that you have, it's not that you need to rewire it all. It's that you need to forget it all. Because as soon as you go back to your natural programming, your body remembers. Your nervous cells remember, oh, this is true. This is your truth. It's your core truth. It's not trying to create a new truth. It's returning to something you already know. The abundance is already in your cells. Your cells already know that programming. That was their that was their default setting. We're just factory resetting your system. We're factory resetting your nervous system. It has nothing to do with I have to change my mind, I have to change my thoughts. Sometimes it does. Yes, sometimes we do need to rewire a couple of things. But with human design, you see this picture of who you are. When you say, okay, I'm just going to embody this, I'm just going to show up there, all of your cells can automatically get on board because that's their programming. This is your DNA. This is how you are designed to operate. You don't have to create a mindset that supports your future success. You have to come back to and forget about everything that says you are not abundant, because abundance is your natural state. That's your core truth. Human design shows you exactly what it looks like, exactly what to embody, because embodiment is a shortcut. And as an MG over here, I love shortcuts. Shortcuts to mastery are my thing. They're my favorite. I'm too impatient to rewrite every single thing in my body. You get your human design chart, you see it, you can see exactly what types of things you might be thinking, what types of programs you're using, you're experiencing, you're trying to run that don't go with your natural system. And so it really doesn't need to be that challenging. It really doesn't. You see your human design chart, you go through it a couple times. I mean, we're going to rewire this. We're going to do all of this work in 4 weeks. That's what Patterns of Prosperity is. It's going to be 4 weeks long. Yes, there's going to be 2-hour calls. It's going to be a lot of information, a lot of journaling, but 4 weeks. It doesn't need to take a lifetime. Yes, this is embodiment work at a deeper level. We're embodying this. We're taking a quantum leap in this program so that you can really step into this new level. You can step into this space where you're returning to yourself. It's not about creating something new. It's not about stretching. There's this feeling that I've always gotten when I've gone through money mindset programs where in order to reach this new level, I have to stretch. I have to reach. I have to put effort into it. And what's different about Patterns of Prosperity is that when you're using your human design chart, you're not stretching into something new. You're returning to who you are. And so it feels natural. It feels centering. It feels grounded. It doesn't feel like I'm stretching and trying to be and trying to embody and trying to do or be or have or whatever, something that's not right for me, something that's not natural. When you go through a lot of money manifesting programs, you're trying to embody the level of success, the level of vibration, whatever it is, that version of whoever the course creator is. They're showing you what their level of success is, and you're trying to emulate that. You're trying to be them energetically. You're reaching for where they are. And while sometimes that can be helpful, sometimes when we borrow other people's structures in our open areas, it offers a little bit more consistency in our day-to-day lives. But This is different. We're not stretching. I'm not trying to get you to become me. I'm trying to help you return to who you are. Abundance is your natural state. It's who you are. It's what your cells are naturally programmed to do. We're not rewiring things. This doesn't have to be challenging. You're returning to who you are by embodying your version of truth, your version of abundance, which is going to be what your human design chart looks like and has nothing to do with how I do things, with how she does things, whatever. This is not going to just create a really amazing 4-week program. This is going to create really amazing lasting results. You're going to be able to take these results and know how to move forward with them. One big thing that I really didn't like about a lot of programs was when I was in someone else's energy in that container, I got results. It was no big deal. It was easy. And then all of a sudden they left and I didn't have that reference point. I didn't have their energy, their codes to abundance that I could borrow. It wasn't sustainable until I found human design and until I embodied that for myself. So that is what I had to talk about today. I'd love to answer any questions that anybody has. I always love a good Q&A. I will not be allowing anybody to join the live video because I do want this will be living on my page and on YouTube. So I'm going to give it a couple minutes to answer your questions live.